buscado permanezca detenido anillarle. Asigna mantener la limpieza.
So last week I've been filming a lot with the Ace Pro 2 and the cinematic lens, macro close-up lens and wide-angle lens, which I got for free from Insta360 in exchange of making this video. And today I want to share with you my overall thoughts on these lenses and also briefly talk about the image quality of the Ace Pro 2, more specifically how iLog footage handles heavy color grading in post-production using DaVinci Resolve. And also I want to do a brief audio quality comparison between the Mic Air from Insta360 and my DJI Mic 3 without doing any enhancements in post-production to see which one sounds better. I know they are priced differently, but let's see how much better the Mic 3 sounds like compared to the Mic Air. I'm gonna put a title here somewhere on the screen to let you know exactly which microphone I am using. So first of all, let's talk about the cinematic lens, which I'm actually using right now. This lens is basically an anamorphic lens for the Ace Pro 2. With this one, you'll get a wider horizontal field of view. So the vertical field of view is going to remain the same, but on the sides, it's going to become slightly wider. And usually they use these kind of lenses in movies, professional commercial shoots and whatnot. So if you want to make your footage more cinematic, if you will, this lens might be something to consider, but honestly, I thought I would love this lens the most, but from the Ace Pro 2 lenses, I like this one the least because it produces a very soft image in comparison to the other lenses, and it is significantly softer than just using the stock lens. But for example, if you want to get like flares, I don't know if you can see the flares in here. It's really hard to tell on the screen, but maybe you'll be able to see the anamorphic flares here on the sun. If you want this kind of an effect, this might be something worth considering. But for me, again, personally, the field of view of the Ace Pro 2 is already so wide, so I can just, put black bars on top and bottom and basically call it an anamorphic shot without using an anamorphic lens. And also at the same time, like I said, the sharpness is not the best when using this anamorphic lens. Even in the center, I'm like, okay with the sides being soft, but the center of the image is also soft when using this lens. And now let's talk about the next lens, the wide angle lens. This one, honestly, I used the least, maybe for a couple of shots, because the field of view it creates is so wide. Maybe that's something you'll want for like action shots or POV shots, but I'm not really into these kind of things. I love using my action camera basically as a tiny little mirrorless camera, and I love my field of view to be as natural as possible. And with this lens, the field of view looks so dorky and weird. And again, for action shots and POV shots, it's going to be fantastic, but I'm not really into this kind of shots. But at least this lens is significantly sharper than the anamorphic cinematic lens. So if you're into like action shots and POV shots, you love this lens a lot because it significantly widens the field of view of the Ace Pro 2. But for someone like myself, I don't really see the point of having a lens like this. All right, and finally, let's talk about the macro close-up lens. I actually shot this section yesterday, but I totally missed the focus. I was holding the camera somewhere around here, and I was blurry, and the background was also blurry. So hopefully, if I put the camera in here, I should be in focus and the background should be blurry, which is one effect you can get with this lens to basically make the Ace Pro 2 look more like a traditional mirrorless camera. But at the same time, you can spin the focus ring to the other side and have the background in focus and also yourself in focus at the same time. And I believe with this mode, you also decrease the minimum focus distance of the Ace Pro 2. So you can bring the camera a bit closer to you when selfie vlogging and have yourself sharper than without using this lens at all. But for me personally, this kind of an effect where you have yourself in focus and then the background blurry is more appealing because it makes the Ace Pro 2 look more like a professional camera, if you will. But the main downsides of using this lens is one, you don't really have an indication on the focus ring when you are set to like infinity focus or close focus. I mean, I kind of know that I have to turn left to be in close focus mode, and then if I turn it right, it's going to be infinity focus. But I wish there was like an indication, mark something on the ring to be able to see it a bit better. And also, when you mount this lens on the camera, you'll have an option to enable focus peaking to help you with focusing, but it doesn't help at all because yesterday I saw peaking on myself and then I was completely blurry when previewing the shots later on in post-production. And hopefully right now, actually, I am in focus. It looks like I am in focus, but I won't know until I come back home. So that's a huge downside because, again, it's barely visible on the screen whether you are in focus or not, especially when using the close focus mode. But at least the image you get when using this lens, if you set the focus properly, the image is very sharp and detailed compared to the cinematic lens. And now let me briefly talk about how iLog footage handles heavy color grading in post-production, because you don't know me, I love pushing my footage around in post-production to create like a stylistic look. And honestly, I'm not too impressed with the iLog footage I got from this camera, even when adjusting the settings like exposure and white balance manually, and even with all of my color grading skills in post-production, because the footage breaks apart significantly quicker than something like D-Log-M footage from the DJI Action 6, Action 5 Pro, and even Action 4, or even the GoPro Hero 10 I used a couple of weeks ago, shot with a flat color profile. For whatever reason, this camera's shot or whatever the footage from this camera is not as robust as the footage from the other cameras. Maybe it's because this camera is limited to 8-bit, whereas the DJI cameras can do 10 bits, so you get a bit more flexibility when pushing around the colors. But I think the GoPro Hero 10 can also do only 8-bit, and it is significantly more robust when manipulating colors around in post-production. Even when you're not really manipulating anything except for like adjusting the exposure, white balance, saturation, and maybe applying like a little light on top of the footage, you will still see significantly more artifacts in the footage, especially in dimmer lighting conditions compared to DJI action cameras or GoPro cameras. Like you would see these chromatic noise around certain colors, and also significantly more grain if you bump the ISO to about 400, 500, which is nothing when shooting with the DJI Action 6, Action 5 Pro, and even Action 4. So this camera also produces significantly more noise in slightly dimmer lighting conditions than DJI cameras. GoPros are as bad in the light as this camera, but with DJI cameras you get more flexibility with the ISO. You can push the ISO with the Action 6 to about 1600 before you really introduce grain and chromatic noise to the shot. But with this camera you have to be very careful because it's so sensitive to like grain and noise. And also when you do try to manipulate certain colors in the shot, you will get artifacts significantly quicker with the iLog footage from this camera than with something like DJI Action 6 D-Log-M or DJI Action 5 Pro D-Log-M footage. So let's summarize this video. My favorite lens from the Ace Pro 2 lenses is the macro close-up lens because I can get like a blurry background effect, and also it delivers a very sharp and detailed image. The cinematic lens is a bit overhyped, honestly. I mean, the field of view again is so wide with this camera, I can just put black bars on top and bottom and call it an anamorphic shot. And then the wide angle lens is cool and all, but I'm not really into POV shots, action shots. If you are, you will enjoy that lens. And in terms of the iLog footage, like I said, I'm not really a big fan because it is not as flexible as like D-Log-M footage from the Action 6, Action 5 Pro and whatnot. So if you do love pushing your colors to the extreme in post-production, you will not enjoy using iLog with the Ace Pro 2. All right, so anyhow, let me know down below what you think about these lenses and the iLog footage that I shot in the beginning of this video. Also, let me know down below which microphone you think sounds better, the Mic Air or the DJI Mic 3. And I guess I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching and bye-bye.